You're listening to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast, comics, television, movies, and more. If it impacts fan culture, we have something to say about it. And now, your hosts, Michael, Jordan, Cliff, and Seth.
And 4, 3, 2, 1. Hi, this is the illustrious Michael K. Easton.
My name's Jordan Lowe.
I'm Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth. This is one I've been waiting for. I suggested this a year ago.
How timely.
Doing it. Actually, it was probably before. It was pre-COVID because we were pre-video.
Yeah, we didn't have a good way to record these visually. Which that's probably a good tip. If you are listening to the audio version of this one, it might be better enjoyed visually. So check out our YouTube page. We're going to post this one on YouTube for everyone because there's definitely a visual component to this one. But we should be able to describe it well enough. You won't have to see it. You can still listen to it and enjoy it, but you'll get more out of it watching the video.
Right.
So what is it? Lay it on them.
What do we have an official name for this, or are we just calling it our top superhero costumes
Countdown.
Sure, yeah.
Sure.
Everything's a countdown.
Yeah. That's what it is. So basically what we're doing one of our new ways of doing a countdown. Instead of everybody doing their top 10 and we share it, or weighting them against each other and see what weight goes to the top as our favorites. This is it's not an original concept. I've got other podcasts that have done this, but I like it. It's a new way to do it. So I did kind of finagle the rules around here, but I'm going to share my screen and show you how we're doing it. We're not doing a top 10, we're doing a top 12. So we each get 3 picks on here. So everybody gets to have the same amount of fun. So let's see.
We're just talking heroes as well. So no villains on this one. We're sticking to the good guys.
Yeah. So you might guess that maybe we'll get around to villains someday. So here are the 4 columns we have to choose from, and before we started, we picked the order of who gets to pick which column, and we'll reveal that in a second. But here are the columns. Column A, whoever gets that gets picks 9, 6, and 1, and they get 2 vetoes. And you can veto someone else's pick if it comes up and you don't think it should be on the list, or you think it should be higher on the list. So you veto it from that position, and you can pick it later, or anyone can. And the person in column A gets 2 vetoes because they're trying to protect that number 1 pick. So someone doesn't pick something they liked at a much higher number, and it's stuck there and they don't get to put it in the number 1 slot. They can veto it, try to move it up the list. Column B gets picks 10, 7, and 2. They also get 3 picks in the top 10, just like column A, and they only have 1 veto. So this is not as good as column A, supposedly, but them's the breaks. It's not all fair in life. We didn't win the Rochambeau. Column C gets picks 11, 8, and 3, which only has 2 in the top 10. They have 1 veto, but they also have what is called a veto override. That's if someone vetoes someone's pick, they can override that and get it to stay on the list in that position. And maybe they don't want it to go higher. Maybe they want to make sure it gets on the list at all. But they cannot override a veto that someone did to them. If someone vetoed their pick, they cannot override that. And column D is picks 12, 5, and 4. They only have 1 veto, but they are the only column with 2 picks in the top 5. So
I'm going to screw this up. I can tell already.
I'll keep you straight.
Okay.
So basically, Michael, keep in your head, you're going to have 3 picks.
Yep, that's the big one.
Wait and see which column you have, and then start thinking about what those picks, where you want them, and have a backup for each what each position.
'Cause
Jordan,
I think we know each other well enough. Like, if you know who has the picks ahead of you, like, well, they're probably not going to pick this one any higher, so I better get it in now. So there's a little bit of gamesmanship and strategy.
Right. We're working together, but we're working against each other. Jordan won the play-in, so he gets to pick which column he wants.
I'm a paper, rock, scissors champion. I also stopped listening to you 10 minutes ago, so I'll just go with the first thing you said, column A. I want that number one pick.
All right, so that's Jordan with column A.
I haven't had a number one pick yet since we've been doing this, so I'm going to take it now.
And we're going to try to ruin it for you. Then we have Michael actually won something, second place. So
I never come in first.
What column would you like? Would you like?
Well, since I'm second, I'm going to go with B, Alex.
Oh, okay. That is Michael, column B. Cliff, you were third. I was batting cleanup.
Yep. Go ahead and give me C.
He's going to take C. Well,
real simple.
Not shaking it up too much here, folks. So, well, I got 2 picks in the top 5 with column D. I'll take that. Everybody's got a little something to work with here. So I'm going to stop that as long as everybody has that. Take a good look at it. Screenshot it with your phone if you want to remember how this works. And we're going to stop that share for right now. So what we will do is when you make your pick, whose ever turn it is, and I will be first, apparently. I'm going to share the number 12 on our list. And then we will go around after, we talk about it. Any of you can veto it. Now, when we do that, I will go in the order of who got first pick. So Jordan will have to decide first if he's going to veto and so on. So he's kind of at a disadvantage there because he got first pick. Okay, so I got to decide. Let me look at my picks here.
Did everyone have a easy time with this or a hard time? Too many to choose from, or too few that really fit the bill?
It was a weird thing. Like, I just kind of sat down and did it probably within, like, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes. And now, I took it as, I'm sure we all have a different strategy about this. Mine was almost kind of random. Like, I just was like, okay, what's a cool, like, whatever came to mind. Like, I was like, when I was a kid, what did I think was cool? What was, what appealed to me? And that's just straight up with what I went with. So mine are, they're kind of wonky, but, we'll see what happens.
Did we all go with comic book character designs, like not movie, TV, cartoon?
Well, that's the one thing I was going to say. What inspired this list was not a comic book costume. But it got changed to that as we were talking the last week. But I was kind of waiting to see what people said, and it really was pressed comic book, so that's what we're doing. But when we do honorable mentions, we'll be able to show whatever we want.
Yeah. I also racked my brain. Like, surely there's something not Marvel or DC. There's got to be some indie comic or something obscure. And I'm like, if I get 3 picks, it's going to be Marvel or DC. Like, it's not that deep. The indie books and stuff are not that deep. So these may not be huge surprises. These might be very mainstream characters, but we'll see. We'll see where the list ends up.
And I went over, like, I tried to think of, like, history of costumes, how long they've been around, what stood the test of time, what is new and exciting, and what seems to, like, and then, like, so I guess I was all over the place, and I did, like, try to rack my brain. Same thing like Cliff's saying, like, as a kid, what, when I was early collecting comics, what did I think was super cool, that kind of thing. So I'm sure some of it's nostalgia.
Yeah, definitely.
So
again, the fine print to any of these we do, these are Ka-Pow picks. These are not, we're not trying to pick the best of all time or the, this is no definitive mainstream list. These are personal choices.
Yeah, these are our favorites.
Mm-hmm.
So stick it. I'm going to share my the number 12 on our list, and let's see. It is Mark Grunwald's Hawkeye. He wrote this limited series, and he actually did this cover, and I just love this version of Hawkeye. This is when I started, this is right around the time I started reading comics, within a year or two of this, I believe. Honestly, I don't know what year this came out, but this is the costume he had. Yeah, it was a couple of years after I started reading. This is from 1983, and I just love the purple and blue combo, the classic Hawkeye costume. I wish they could have found a way to make this work in the movies, and I think they could have, and as things have gotten more comic booky recently in Marvel Studios costumes, I think they're going that direction. They're finding materials and ways to make the costumes look more comic booky like this era. But does anyone else have any love for the classic Hawkeye costume?
I definitely love this design, and every time they've tried to update it or change it, it seems like they always go back to this design because that's very iconic for Hawkeye in its original design. So I would definitely, I'm okay with that.
It has a lot of elements that shouldn't work. Like the pointy mask, the loincloth thing, the buccaneer boots. Like, put them on any other character, it would probably not work. But something about it clicks with his personality and the bow and everything. So yeah, I've always loved that costume.
Yeah, I think the pointy mask that's the Hawkeye mask I like, because whenever they try to update that, they take those down. They bring them down, and it looks terrible. It looks like he just has a round head. It needs that dimension to it. I love that. Love it. Got the quiver and the thing hanging down over his crotch, whatever that was. It gives that medieval look. He's an archer. It has that medieval design to it.
And he's not going to have a cape, so that can blow in the breeze and give some dynamic to the action.
Right. I just can't believe you didn't go for the version of his costume when he was in the Old West. Now, I mean, there was a little skin showing on that one.
Okay. All right. Okay, so sounds like everybody. Cliff, did you have any thoughts on this? As a DC guy.
Yeah, I definitely do, and I certainly I certainly have my reasons why I'm just sitting here in silence, like contemplating whether or not this is. Do I want to blow that veto already on that first pick? So I've never really read Marvel comics. I just haven't. That was just not what I grew up with, and I don't have any history with this character whatsoever, other than like the movies, which, it's Jeremy Renner and he's fine, but as far as the look, it's always, kind of been the most to be desired in the movies. And of course, this is, the classic look. This is a lot different than what we've seen, on the big screen.
Well, let's start. Well, you think about it. So We'll start through the order here. Jordan, is this something you would want to use one of your vetoes on? Because you wanted it higher. You had it on your list, and you were like, I want this number one, and he screwed it up.
In the history of comic books, the top 12 all time, I can't personally see it, but from an Avengers fan, maybe. But I won't veto it.
From an Avengers fan, maybe. No, I'm telling you, from an Avengers fan, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely number 12 on the list. Michael, do you have any reason to veto this?
No. Not really, because I was a real big fan of Hawkeye back in the day. I remember when they had the Solar Avengers books. I'm pretty sure he was like the main character.
Yeah,
he was.
He was the Spider-Man. Everybody was there. Was the 2-in-1 and Marvel team up and Spotlight, and it was always like Wolverine, Spider-Man, or Hawkeye. Those were in those series. It's like Hawkeye was a popular character, and he, you know.
And I mean,
I know why. I felt that. I love that character.
He's got the H on his forehead to make sure you know who he is. So I'm totally for it.
That happens in a lot of things, cartoons sometimes. So comes to you, Cliff. What do you think?
Yeah, God, this is nuts.
You're gonna use your one veto already.
Yeah, well,
and I replace it.
Yeah, I understand that. it's that blue and purple's just not working for me.
So good.
I'm gonna veto it. I'm just gonna I'm gonna shoot my shot here and right from the get-go, guys.
Oh, God gave me vetoes too. Okay, so officially this was vetoed from the list. Stop the share. Oh, that's terrible. Wow, knocked off the list. I can't wait. You just signed yourself up for a veto.
Oh, I have completely screwed myself here, because when you see some of my picks, you're going to be like, what are you thinking? These are terrible.
That hurt. That one hurt. I never in a million years thought somebody wouldn't love the purple and blue, the yellow bow, and the H. Come on. Jeez. So I get another pick.
Yep.
It's a trick, guys. I get to put somebody else up here to talk about. Let me look at my choices here.
I'll never forget when Iron Man built armor for Hawkeye to try to update his costume, and it looks so like it was like I feel like it was another 4-issue limited series. And same thing, like they got rid of the cow, and it was like kind of sunglasses or whatever. But
every pick on this list is going to have some bad years as well, and some bad costume choices.
I feel like every character has gotten armor at one point or time.
I also feel like this one's shaping up to be a two-parter, don't you, Cliff?
It very well could be. We could be in for a long night here.
This is fun. Gosh, you guys in a hurry? Wow. All right. I just like this shot, so this is the one I'm putting here. Let's see here. Another Marvel character, believe it or not. I don't even know a whole ton about this guy, but I saw the costume. I was like, that is a crazy costume, and I really like it. And didn't see enough of him yet. I haven't read a lot of it, but here we go. We got Sunfire from the from that giant size X-Men coming in at you with all these guys, and then we get Sunfire, the representative from Japan, and he was he was not a nice guy there in the beginning, what I've read so far, and he took off shortly thereafter, but I just thought his costume was awesome. And I think it's Don Heck probably designed the costume. He was the
Now, see, what I remember from Sunfire, my first introduction was Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Sunfire being on that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, is his shirt there with that striping, is that supposed to remind us that, of like the Japanese Empire? Is that what
Hiroshima?
That is? I have no idea.
It definitely has that rising sun.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I'm not saying that in a negative way, but that's just,
I chose this shot because there's a lot of other picks out there, and the design fluctuates a lot. And I wanted to go with the one that caught my eye when I first read it. So
do we go through this all again and like?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. we have to ask Jordan first. So, what are your thoughts on it, and then decide if you want to veto it or not. Move on. You don't.
I really do want to, but I don't want to give you another pick. So,
this is fun. I can do this all day.
No, it is a cool costume. X-Men are known for being very colorful, especially this era of X-Men. All those new X-Men look cool and haven't changed much from their original designs. So. Sunfire, he's not the most popular one, but he's got a cool costume.
True.
He also tried to make out with Firestar on Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
All right. That's what, now we know what Michael's porn is. So, Michael, what do you think of the costume, and are you vetoing it?
I do like the costume. The mask kind of gives you like that kaiju type feel. And it's kind of like a blending of costume elements that some of it shouldn't work, but it does for that character. And as a 12 spot, as a design,
right?
I'm okay
this is
with
12.
It. Yeah.
Okay, so Cliff.
Yeah, I
don't have any vetoes, so
I don't have any. It's got to work for me, but I will just say, so far, just by going off of your two picks that you've done so far, let's just say our picks may be very similar, but just on the other side of the coin.
Right.
Okay. So the
yeah,
Marvel,
I mean, this isn't my favorite.
Yeah.
But this is way up there for me. So yeah, I this seems more your style.
Yes.
To me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do have to
I'm
say,
glad. It sounds to me like you used your veto well, Cliff. You got
I don't
something
think
on
you
here
did.
you preferred.
In a million years, did I think Sunfire was going to be on this list?
There's going to be some surprises.
Now you have lived. Okay, so officially Sunfire is number 12 on the list. So we go to Cliff with the number 11 pick.
Oh man. Okay. I should have been prepared already, shouldn't I?
Seriously?
You're the one editing this video.
Yes.
Take your time.
So I have 3 picks myself. Where do I want to start off with?
Remember, you might need a backup in there somewhere.
Yes, indeed.
It happened to me.
So, okay, let me go ahead and pull this up. I'm just going to throw this one out here. I feel like it's a fairly strong pick here.
Ooh,
and
pretty proud of that pick.
There we go. So, can all of you see it here?
We can.
Okay.
Now, just so the audience knows, since I'm on my phone, it's going to be a little bit different when I share versus what you guys are doing, and you're going to see me doing a lot of hand gestures at the screen, so don't freak out.
Yeah, he's not trying to reach out at you or anything. He's just working with the app. So we have Zatanna here, guys. This is a look that I always really liked, no matter what. No
pants.
No
so
pants.
I'm a big fan of no pants also.
Yep, we're Donald Ducking it here. But no matter what, whether it was comics, TV, cartoons, animated, or live action, whatever. It's always a classic look. It tells me I just dig it. It tells me it's fun. It tells me exactly what I need to immediately know about her. She's a magician. She looks like a magician. She's got the cool tails, tuxedo coat there, and then it's fun and it's kind of sexy, and she's got the fishnets going on with the top hat, and I just always thought it worked for her very well in that character, and just being upfront of her personality, what she's about. I always liked this version way better than that kind of 1980s look she had for a while, and they've done a couple
blue
different
and
times.
White
Yeah,
outfit.
Yeah. I never cared for that, but I always thought this was so classic and done so well in this version. That comic cover you see on the left hand side, I put down there Brian Bolland drew it. But But yeah, it's just it's a look I've always really dug.
Okay, Jordan, what do you think about it?
This one is actually in my honorable mentions, so it was in my top 12 personally.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, I love it. It's like you said, it's the classic magician look. The top hat, you pull a rabbit out of the hat, the long tails, but taken in a superhero-y direction. So yeah, and they've updated it in the years since. Like they've given her a long coat or pants, or they gave her like the fishnet gloves, switched to fishnets from the bottom to the top and stuff. So they've tweaked it a little bit, but it's never looked better than this version for sure.
Michael,
what about this costume screams superhero? Nothing.
I'm glad you said it.
Like, this is a superhero costume, not a magician. If you want to go over to Harry Potter,
no,
but anyway,
they don't dress like that in Harry Potter. They wear robes.
That's why I was surprised. At least Sunfire and Hawkeye are superhero looking costumes. This is a tuxedo.
I'm very frustrated by this pick, but I don't want to use my veto yet. No, I don't. I'm saving that. I got one. Ugh, I hate this list already.
That's the point. I want to make everybody mad. All equal opportunity madness.
I'm with you, Cliff. I'm not upset.
I totally agree that it's cool. It looks good.
Yeah, it is.
But I totally love that I was right that once you put it up there that Michael wouldn't like it because it's a tuxedo. So you're not going to veto it, Michael?
No.
Neither am I. It's number 11. I can't break any hearts at number 11. So officially, our number 11 is Zatanna. I love the outfit. I do love it. I don't have a problem.
Yeah, I like.
But it's not very superhero-y. It's pretty plain Jane.
Well, that's what I always said it. Like I guess I never looked at it as plain Jane. I always looked at it as something that set her apart from.
It gives it a real world vibe. It's realistic, and it goes exactly with her character. Like that's what she is. It just. But I could see it going either way. All right, number 10. We're officially in the top 10 now. So this is the real deal. She didn't even count anymore. Like Sunfire and her don't exist. This is the top 10. Michael, what is your number 10?
This is so hard.
That's what she said.
Mm-hmm. Not tonight. All right, I'm gonna go with this. Okay, so let's see if I do this correctly. My number 10 is.
Did not do it correctly.
Just give me a second. Hold your. Jeez.
All right.
Yes.
Okay,
so this is
on the small screen here.
This is the redesign of the Blue Beetle.
Jaime Reyes.
Is that Insecticid?
Yes. Might be inspired by, or Insecticid might be inspired by this design. If you want to go down that road,
I could see that. I can see.
This is a modern redesign of a classic character that I very much love this design. It keeps a lot of the classic elements of more of that legacy type hero. If you don't know the mythos of it, the scarab that Ted Cord had never worked for him, and it's activated on what's his name, Cliff?
Jaime Reyes.
Jaime Reyes. And he actually becomes the current Blue Beetle. I just like it. It blends classic designs into a modern costume.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed. Now, of course, I am a huge Ted Cord fan, but typically when they do these legacy characters, I'm always like, oh, it never touches the original. Not that Ted Cord was the original, but Charlton character, but this is a design that it gives us that classic, we know where it came from vibe. Now they've reversed the colors on it a little bit, but it's a totally different thing than Ted was. You know, it's a alien technology. It's an organic suit with the Scarab and how the Scarab communicates with Jaime, and they're at a constant kind of battle between the two of them. But as far as the costume goes, you know, it's kind of like Iron Man, in that nanotechnology kind of gives you that same vibe, to where Jaime has, you know, can transform and produce these different weapons and wings and turbo boosters and all this different tech that comes out of the suit, without it looking goofy or, you know, kind of clunky. It's all very, like I said, I always thought it seemed very organic and kind of streamlined, as far as, you know, what it did.
Yeah, Ted Kord had a cool costume as well, a very simple, more Silver Age look. But this is one of the few legacy characters that is a whole different direction. It's usually just like a subpar knockoff of the original. But Jaime is his own thing and is iconic now for kids who watch the cartoon, or I'm sure he's in the video games. So
yeah,
he's very much his own character and recognizable, not just as the other Blue Beetle, but a Blue Beetle as in himself.
So this is supposed to be 52?
From the new 52.
I mean, it literally says 52 on his chest.
Yeah. Well,
no,
I know
no.
It does. That's on purpose, guys. I got news for you. I know they're trying to do two things there, and I think that hurts it, as far as I'm concerned.
That was actually, that is the same Beetle design that Ted Kord
from the
had.
original.
Yeah, Ted Kord.
And it always looked like a 52. It was that blatantly
I never saw it
52.
until you said that.
Yeah,
Well,
I've never
try
seen
to
it
unsee it. Go ahead. Give me 5
You
minutes.
ruined this.
Unsee it.
Once again, Seth has ruined something.
I'm just saying. That's what I don't like about it.
It is funny
Kind
that
of looks like he's wearing bedroom slippers.
I mean,
He does slip-ons. He's just got to go out and get the mail.
The only superhero in Crocs.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with Crocs.
Just makes him more relatable.
So officially, Jordan, you were.
I don't know if you can see this.
Fine with this.
There's
the original Ted.
I can't see it. Yeah. I don't see a 52 at all.
It's the same design.
No, wrong. Well, it's obvious they were purposefully doing that because of that. You know, they were trying to make it do both things, and it too much does the numbers. But Jordan, you want this in your top 10?
I think we've ripped it enough that it doesn't need to be vetoed by me. So I'll save my
let's just, before you officially skip your chance to veto, you're the only one with 2 vetoes.
I know. I'm sure the way this list is going, I might need them both.
Okay, Jordan does not veto it. Michael, you like this because you put it there.
Yes.
Cliff.
So I'm not going to veto it.
You're never going to veto it. You went and got physically up to go prove to me that it shouldn't be vetoed.
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
Okay, I hate it, and I'm going to leave it there because I want to break Cliff's heart, not Michael's.
Aww.
No, I'm not sure. Let me think about this a second. I don't hate the costume. I like the costume. It's fine. Do I think it should be in a top 10? No way. Okay. And what ruins, like, if it wasn't such an obvious 52 trying to be cool, trying to be sly and fit that in, I would have liked it more. But I don't like that aspect of it. It has no business being in our top 10. But I'm not going to waste my veto just because you guys are too freaking cool to do it. So it can be number 10. And you can just know that everybody's going to criticize you for it.
I feel like we're like on the shark show.
This is it. This is the show.
The shark.
Okay, so officially our number 10 is this garbage.
The Blue Beetle.
You're just being salty because Hawkeye.
I like the original Blue Beetle costume. I like the Silver Age. I don't care about this.
And this, much like Iron Man, this is not the only look. Like everyone who draws him, the armor looks a little bit different.
The problem is, this is the pick.
Mm-hmm.
We're picking this. Okay. Number 9. Jordan gets to make his
number 9. All right. I'm going to squeeze him in. I don't know how high I could get him on the list. I think Cliff might have my back, but I don't know if anybody else would. But I have to include...
I'm so excited.
Buddy nice. Baker, the Animal Man.
See? Letter. So remember your name.
So he was a very D-list character in the Silver Age, just made a few appearances, and then became much more well-known from Grant Morrison's run in the 1980s.
When you say it, Cliff, there it is, are you talking about the
costume? The costume.
So yeah, the original was a very, they didn't tweak too much from the original. They just modernized it a little bit. Brian Boland did all the covers to it. The artist was Chaz Trug for the whole run of Grant Morrison's run. And it's a very typical kind of spandex-looking costume, gloves, goggles, but they threw in the jacket and rolled up sleeves, and it just made it look so 1980s.
No pants.
Fashionable.
No pants. When he comes in, they say, take off your pants and jacket.
So it was very much fashionable from the time. And there's a scene that I adore where he explains he didn't know where to keep his keys and his wallet and stuff. Like he wears the jacket because he needs pockets. Pants. And it's because it's a more realistic take on the superhero. So I love that. I like had literally never thought
it's a wearable merce.
Am I not wrong in thinking like the orange at one time like was drawn like kind of like chainmail-y?
Yeah, there's a little bit to that in this older version.
A little more texture.
Looks like Aquaman type texture.
The jacket covers it up, Michael.
Yeah.
And it also is one of my favorite pages of all time, where Superman swoops in and gives him a compliment. I like the costume, big A, and gives him a thumbs up. Because of course Superman would love a costume with a letter on the chest.
Right. Mine means hope. What's your mean? Animal.
So if it gets a thumbs up from Superman, it gets a thumbs up from me. I love Animal Man's look. And they've modernized it a little bit and tried a few different things that look very good from the new 52 era.
Yeah, I had this in my honorable mentions also, and I was kind of like because when the new 52 came out, one of the better books out of that was the Animal Man book.
Right.
Which I dug, but truth, when it came down to it, I liked this version of his costume the best. I also just, like I said, it made me think differently. But I've been reading comic books my entire life and never thought about, where does Spider-Man keep his wallet? Like it wasn't until this version I'm like,
I know where he keeps his wallet. Yeah, in his backpack, webbed up in the corner with his
web bundle. Okay.
Come on, jeez. Okay, so Michael, what are your thoughts? This as a number 9.
I don't.
Say it. This is all about honesty.
I like the goggles. I don't like the. I like the goggles. I like the jacket. I don't like the design.
You're gonna go against Superman.
Yeah, that's why you added that. That was good. That was good. Mm-hmm. Well, I want your honest opinion, Michael. You're our only artist. I want all the piping and everything.
Because, to me, if you do just his headshot, his costume can be whatever it is, as long as you have that headgear. That's kind of always been part of Animal's motif. The design to me is lackluster. But again, I'm not using my veto yet.
Is it the color you don't like on it?
Yeah, well, it just.
Well, I mean, it's got the contrasting colors. The complementary colors, right. The blue and orange. There's no problem there. It's got the blonde hair, though. I don't know why someone would do that to themselves.
I think it's just more like, yeah, I know, right? I think to me that it's too much orange. Like, it needs broken up more. Like, and it reminds me.
Remember, this is a shorts guy. This is a Superman shorts guy.
It reminds me of Aquaman, too. Like, that's the. Just give him pants, man.
Just give him pants, man.
I'm with you, Jordan. I've always liked the look. I love the goggles because they were that different shape. Typically, like you can see in that image there, kind of that triangular shape always gave it a different look. I always dug it.
I'm not gonna veto this. I like Animal Man. I mean, I'm not a huge DC guy, but I like Animal Man. I'm not in love with it, but I like an 80s era jacket. I like my Black Knight with a jacket, that kind of stuff. So, it makes it. It's a number 9. Come on. I like the simplicity of some of these. Some of these are. I was expecting some more craziness, So the simplicity here of the Animal Man costume, it's like it's got a vibe. You like that? That's your pick. I like it.
I will say that I'm pretty sure that this is the one character that started that trend of jacket popping up on superheroes. Like before him, was there any other superhero character that had a jacket?
Black Canary.
What year did they come up with the jacket?
Probably 88 or so.
That was a thing. That was Avengers did it hardcore.
Yeah, but that was more 90s, wasn't it?
No. I'll look it up. But all the Gathering stuff, when's that? Because they're all freaking jacketed up.
I feel like that's early 90s.
Okay. So nobody's going to veto this one?
No one is vetoing it. That is our official number 9. So at number 8, Cliff.
Okay. Jordan, go ahead and turn there you go. Alrighty. I'm going to take some, let's see here, what could be some big... this is really high on my list, and we only get 3 picks, so I'm just gonna go with it, okay? So number 8, my pick.
So don't veto me.
My pick is the classic Captain Marvel, Billy Batson, Shazam, whatever you want to call him. I have always loved this costume.
Big red cheese.
The big red cheese, all the way back, from the 1940s or whatever. You can see on the left of this image, CC Beck, 1977. But, it really hasn't changed all that much over the years. This is always going to be my favorite version. I think that's Alex Ross on the right there, with Captain Marvel and Billy Batson together. But that red and gold, red and yellow, whatever you want to call it, that kind of, I love the cape on this guy. Always did. That kind of off the shoulder, almost like a half cape. The wristbands there and everything. And that big old smile on it. I just think it's one of the iconic costumes out there in the history of comics. This was Fawcett Comics back in the day, so before they got bought out. So,
and he was bigger than Superman.
Yes, there at the beginning he was like the number 1 guy.
Okay, it's very simple, but it works. Like that lightning bolt is pretty iconic.
Yeah.
I do like the cape. It's not like a full length, long, flowing cape. It's just a little little half cape thing.
It's a classic look, but I always thought it looked like it's very superhero, but it's not overly complicated. Like it looks like something somebody could really wear. Maybe opposed to that movie we had a couple years ago, which still I didn't hate that look either. But this was just, you can tell it's from the past, but it's just so good. Why change it?
And Elvis loved it. Like
Elvis loved it.
Well, Elvis loved drugs. That's no good.
A lot of his 70s outfits were because of his love for Captain Marvel.
You could see it right there.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I've always said Billy Batson.
Santa loved it.
Billy Batson, he's the peanut butter and banana sandwich of superheroes.
Sounds like you guys are all for this. So I would be the only one throwing a wrench in the plan, and I just have a hard time fighting a classic costume. Like if that's what you love,
definitely like the movie, whatever you say about it, has made him more mainstream and recognizable. So a couple of years ago, I don't know that this would have been an iconic look, but way more people know who the character is now, and it's more firmly established as a DC stalwart. So
the only thing is, I put it back up there a second, Cliff. I'm trying to decide when I would use my veto. I do not care about this costume at all. Like it doesn't. It's his cape's really short and weird. It looks like he picked up someone else's cape.
His grandma sewed flowers onto it.
Yeah, it's just like she's like, wait, look, put this on. He's like, oh, okay.
And see, that's what I always liked about it, is because it wasn't that cookie cutter. It's not Superman's cape, or Batman.
It's this sheer looking.
He's heard that song.
He's got the wisdom of Solomon, the strength of Hercules, the fashion sense of Liberace.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to think ahead. What would Cliff pick higher? And he's liable to only pick things I like better. I mean,
Don't count your chickens there.
Don't test him.
Don't step on Superman's cape.
I just mean like, okay, he's already got Zatanna on there. He only has, it's this or his number 3. His number 3 is going to be something good. Give me a sec. Oh, because I don't care about this costume. I think I have enough faith in you guys' taste. The things that I honestly think Cliff could do better. Because that's what I'm betting on, that Cliff can replace us with something better. Well, he bet that on me, and I did. He preferred my second pick.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Well, I don't care. You're not the one picking after him, anyway.
This was very high on my list. I will tell you that.
I'm gonna let it ride. Captain Marvel can be on the list. Wow, let's see if that comes back to bite me. All right, our number 7, Michael.
Guys, this is giving me an ulcer.
Let me tell you. So far, we have at number 12, Sunfire. Was Hawkeye, vetoed by Cliff, replaced with Sunfire. Number 11, Zatanna. 10, 52, Blue Beetle, Mecha Insecticid. Number 9, Animal Man, the classic Animal Man with jacket. Number 8, Captain Marvel with doily. So
the list is very DC heavy.
It is. Yeah. That's why I didn't have any chance to, if I beat the.
Let's just say the bottom of the list is very DC.
Yeah, the bottom of the list.
There's only up to go.
Exactly. Saving that veto. All right, Michael. What you
Michael's
got?
struggling.
That's all right.
I am.
This out.
Number 7.
Go with your
So
gut.
yeah. So this is going to be number 7.
Nice added suspense.
I know.
Colossus.
So sassy.
He really is. He's on that catwalk. Yeah.
That's unfortunate the way it cropped that image because it should go.
That's unfortunate.
Michael, tell us what you like about this.
Let's see.
Whoa.
He's coming.
He's coming in hot.
That's him coming through the wall. Remember?
Yeah. So I've always loved this design of Colossus. To me, this is the first time that I've seen like the still body with the, like where they've drawn lines across the metallic surface, and it's such an iconic element with the yellow and red. I always just thought this was so cool looking. I wonder if you can.
Yeah, another one from that giant size X-Men era. I said all those costumes were really cool and modern looking.
This as a kid was one of the very, like, before I knew who the X-Men, like each individual ones were, this is the one that my eyes always kind of went to. Just because it was like, ooh, cool metal, big metal man. Like, that's different. I haven't seen that before. So I was always kind of, I don't know. That's just my initial thoughts.
Yeah, I love Colossus. I've never been bowled over by his costume, but I think the most the thing I always notice is those freaking pointy shoulder pads. I mean, he's got I feel like most people would be like doing that if they were like little. He's already big. He's like, oh yeah, and this
pointy shoulders.
Yeah, I always ended up being Colossus when we played X-Men with my brother and the neighbors, like, because I was the oldest and biggest, so I was always Colossus. So I loved that character. The drawback is when he turns to his human form, he looks weird in that costume.
Yeah, I agree.
With the weird naked arms and the little shorty
naked
shorts.
thighs.
He needed a jacket. He needed a jacket.
The metal look is killer, but anytime he's not metal, it looks bad.
That's
so
why
Michael, I'm going to veto you just so you get another pick.
Oh,
I do love the character, but just straight costume design is not the best.
Yeah.
So I want another pick from Michael.
I like that because I wasn't going to veto that because I like it fine if that's what he loves, but it's not the costume that makes it. It's the man. It's the metal. You know, I don't know that the costume blows me away. He looks great, the metal and everything.
Well,
costume can't save it.
Vetoing that, we'll go with the pick that I was struggling with between these two.
There you go. I'm doing you a favor.
See, you get to put another one up here.
Which is another Dave Cochran design, Nightcrawler.
The pointy shoulder squad.
I know.
What's up with the shoulders?
Similar.
I could see why you were torn.
I didn't know what pointy shoulders to go with. To me, this is a very simplistic design, but it's another one that has really never changed over the years. Like, if you see that, even like a silhouette of him, I mean, it's pretty iconic to me of Nightcrawler. And even
the tail.
Again, going with the metallic look, like his facial features and the way, he's got 3 fingers and that devilish kind of look. I just think the costume adds to that.
Totally agree. Love the character. Love that costume. for me personally, definite improvement over the Colossus. So I'm happy with my veto. If everyone's
no naked thighs.
He's got that kind of circus outfit, kind of Dick Grayson-esque. Now the only thing I would have liked to, I wish you'd had an image of him with his
sword?
saber, yeah. But
the Buccaneer,
yeah, that really completes it. But yeah, I mean,
speaking of that cover, like number 1 of Nightcrawler series they had, I think he had the sword, maybe not. But.
Yeah, but yeah, I like this better.
I think they're very similar. I think that they're very not exciting. I love Nightcrawler, but it's the guy in the costume that's making it dynamic for me, not the costume itself. And I'm not trying to be like this. I'm just saying in a top 10 costumes, this is a pretty normal looking costume to me. It just it's red and black, It's not doing anything.
Doesn't like shoulder pads.
It's not doing anything.
He needs a letter on his forehead. Come on.
Yep.
They're just it's just any costume. I think the guy would look great if you slapped anything on him, but it's not specifically that costume that does it for me. I think I'm speaking for the people. But am I going to use a veto? The problem is you guys keep putting this stuff higher and higher on the list of stuff that is not.
We likes what we likes.
Oh, I got to think about this one too. You guys really want to make me use this freaking veto. But I'm afraid what else he's going to put on there? Who else is on the X-Men right then?
Who else
has pointy shoulder pads? I mean, where's Wolverine? What come?
We're only halfway up the list. Plenty more disappointment to come.
Yeah. Gee whiz. You can cut out my thinking later. I really do need to think about this. Michael.
Yes, love. What?
I'm irritated. Because yeah, but that's it. I have to freaking use my veto when I did not expect to have to use it on you. I seriously, this is a compliment to you. I expected you to come with the piping. I expected you to be like, notice the things we didn't notice. And you gave me two guys that you're more concerned with what they look like and not the costume. You know what I mean? Leave this in, Cliff, when you see this. This is
a lot of this went back to growing up, because I mean I have some other ones that I picked on different reasons, but a lot of these go back to me what was striking when I was younger, and it's it
looks like a freaking female genitalia.
It's weird. Blue Beetle has a 52 now. That's what this is what I find interesting when I was looking through all these lists. The younger, there was stuff that I was attracted to as a kid, but as I got older, I liked all this extra detail.
Cliff just coming out of the buildings like kaiju Cliff.
And now I'm finding that I like more simplistic designs.
Oh.
What?
Leave all of that in.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Seth just lost his big V.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I was just to summarize, to make it more simplistic.
Simplistic.
Right. I'm a little disappointed in Michael's choices. I didn't think he would be someone I'd have to veto because I thought he'd come with the piping and the costume choices that we hadn't noticed before, and he's worried. He's looking at the hero, the person, and not the costume. It's just a boring costume that looks like female genitalia to me, and I'm gonna have to use my veto. And I don't know what he's gonna put up next. I expected.
Yeah.
a freaking costume.
Well,
I already am mad that we have a guy with a lightning bolt on his chest already on the list, and it's the wrong one. You know, this is
number 7.
This is annoying.
Is Dave Cochran still alive?
I don't know. Jordan says no. He would know.
He died a couple years ago.
But this,
Okay, so
Michael, you're getting all kinds of stuff on the board here.
Right now, he is rolling in the grave over you two.
Yeah. I don't know whether that
his costume.
I'm gambling on you, Michael. Just so you know.
God,
So
there's one.
Listen up. I want you to listen up. This is not time to throw in some other random costume. I'm using my one veto, not because I hate the costume you put up. That's not why, but I do.
Oh.
It's because I have faith in you as our artist to put a costume up there that is cool and has some details that matter. And
there's one costume I really want to throw on this list, but I think that it would be on someone else's list, so it worries me.
So what? It makes it the list.
Do it.
You've already proven you can't pick anything.
All right, fine,
so I'm
fine,
using my veto.
fine.
I'm using my veto on the bland costume.
Seth can't handle this chaos. Because he needs his top 10 list to be perfect. So when it involves anyone else, it's not. It's no longer perfect.
Okay, I got it.
It's slipping through his fingers.
Not true.
I'm going to go with this because I feel like something else might be on this. So this is what I'm.
You can't bank on it. You're going to be mad at the end of this when other people did not pick the ones you guys thought they were going to pick. Everybody came here with their own special picks, and we're not going to end up with nothing that's iconic.
This is higher in my list, but I'm going to, yep. This is going to be my number 7.
I can't believe you're doing that.
You just berated him for 5 minutes.
No, I don't mean that in a bad way. I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm surprised.
I love this costume. Like, again, this is going back to, like, childhood, like, first collecting. Like, my first introduction to Captain America in the comics was during his journey of self-discovery and throwing away his original costume and getting the stupid nomad, whatever. Blah, that was stupid. But this costume that's designed by Tom Morgan and it's during Mark Grunwald's run is fantastic. It's like... it's weird how many costumes that I've noticed have the color black for someone that loves bright colored costumes. Like, I love this design.
Jordan, thoughts?
Well, my thought is I don't want 2 Captain Americas on this list. Because I know what Seth's highest pick will be.
So give your thoughts then.
We can always veto. Who has a veto? How many vetoes have we used here?
I got one left.
Okay.
Cliff you have an override.
I have a veto override.
Michael has a veto.
Okay. All right.
Michael has a veto. Jordan has a veto. You have a veto override.
Okay. Cool.
The classic Steve Rogers is my pick. That I don't have a connection to this one the way Michael does. So that's my only qualms. Captain America 100% deserves to be in our top 12, but I couldn't say this specific version. If we had loosened the rules at the beginning, if you said Steve Rogers, then all of his costumes, but we didn't go over the.
No, it's the costume. It's the costume. That's 2 different costumes for sure. So what about you, Cliff? What are your thoughts?
To quote Wyatt Russell. It's the same, but black.
That's because his first Captain America costume was this costume in blue.
Yeah.
They already were doing this, Well, Michael, so you thought I was going to put this on here?
I assumed this was going to be in your top 10.
Well, you did not make an ass out of you and me.
Oh.
I'm going to share some pictures. And hopefully convince everyone to leave this on here, even though this would have been my highest ranking.
See, that's where I was torn. That's why I did not want to use it.
Hey, I would rather have this at 7 than Nightcrawler on the or Colossus on the list. I don't care where my picks are, whatever. There's other more iconic costumes that should be above this. I'm fine with that, but this needs to be on the list. Let's see. Let me share my screen. You're gonna have to cut this out for a second here, Cliff, because I gotta send something to myself. I gotta say.
And there's reason, and I also like the story behind the design. Like, there's a reason why the star is black, and there's symbology to his costume versus what his costume used to be prior.
First off, this is the first time in the comics he picked up the hammer. This is what he was wearing. And Thor 390, the best moment in comics ever. He picks it up. He's the right man. Ka-Pow! We get the. It was a change. Yes, the iconic is great, but this was all great, and I was with you, Michael. But the ultimate version is neither of these. Much more recently, in the miniseries, they have a better version, like the ultimate version of this. I'm going to share it. And I love this.
I will say this is the point where I'm really upset with the movies and TVs taking over everything, because I can remember when we could do a Google search for something comic book related and the comic book immediately pop up, and now it's all this like
movie images,
costumes, movies, and
pages and pages.
Okay, here we go.
Got very frustrated.
This is the evolved version of that costume, and I freaking love it. I
do like that design.
The John Wayne Civil War button chest, where you have with the flap down, and there's the star, the shield painted with the U.S. in the center, combat boots, flag on the shoulder. I think that costume kicks total ass. I love it. It's my favorite freaking costume. I just think it's so badass. And this is the best shot of it. I think it as much as I think the Marvel series, the Falcon and Winter Soldier, that did not, totally portray what John Walker is and kind of let him scoot on without too much repercussions. He isn't quite the John Walker of the comics. I like the John Walker of the comics better, and he's just a little better of a guy. And this costume is just great. I love it. I love that in the comics he has a whole row of those shields in his truck that every time it breaks he gets another one out, because this isn't Captain America's shield. So
and the shield's gone through different designs too. Like at one point it was just white, and then like it was just like those colors right there.
It was silver. He had to go get Tony Stark gave him one because he had to turn his back into the Prez. But anyway, that's my what do you guys think? Here's my argument for Michael. This is 10 million times better than the other two costumes he shared. This has details and that, different things than just a couple colors.
Same colors as Nightcrawler.
And look at all the stuff that's happening here. What do you guys think? You can veto it.
So is the official pick the captain or U.S. agent, or what's the official?
Yeah, what's your pick, Michael? It's a little different costume, what I'm saying, but I think yours is close enough. Whatever you say. If I was putting a picture up on our list, it'd be the one I just shared.
I mean, I can go with either. It's both designs are very similar to each other. There's not.
I agree. It's just an evolution.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, as long as nobody tries to sneak another Captain America higher on the list, because I will veto that.
I have picks 4 and 5. I have picks 4 and 5.
I can't wait for it.
Good luck.
I can't wait for it.
Me and Cliff each have a veto. So
go for it. Go for
Can't
it.
wait for it.
Go for it. I got other things.
Who has number 1? Is that you, Jordan?
Yes.
Okay. This is way more frustrating than I ever expected it to
I
be.
know. It's awesome.
So that does it for part 1 of our best costume countdown. We are halfway through this list, and we'll be back with part 2 shortly.
As always, I am Mr. 1 Hour Photo, Michael K. Easton.
My name's Jordan Love.
Cliff Barnes.
Yeah. Goodbye for now.
Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast, is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Sounds, music, and clips played during the podcast are property of copyright holders. All original content is property of www.udownwithkpp.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a comment. Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast, is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, and wherever podcasts can be found. You can connect with us through social media on Facebook, YouTube, at the Ka-Pow Podcast on Twitter, or email the show, Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast, @gmail.com. If you really want to go the extra mile, please sign up to be a patron through the Podbean app or our website, www.udownwithkpp.com, to receive special content and early access to some episodes. We are grateful to anyone that chooses to contribute, but please know that most of our content will always remain free, so please continue to like, comment, and share.